Hey YouTubers, this is Jacques from Jacques Photography. Today I'm going to talk about why I'm selling the X100F. Hey YouTubers, before I start this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And the other thing I wanted to say is that there's also photo shoots behind the scenes. I also have those. Check those out. Well YouTubers, this is kind of an awkward video and I'll explain why. I have just talked about and just made a couple of videos on the X100F, the 5 reasons why I bought it, and also I talked about the pros and cons of the camera and how much I love it. This video is going to be about the fact that I'm getting rid of it and the reasons why. I also want to talk about the advantages of this camera. Now, what the X100F offers is a small form factor camera with an APS-C size sensor. This camera did not disappoint for image quality, for dynamic range, for the lens quality. The 23mm f2 on it is stellar and unbelievable. It is a very, very nice lens. But what happens is that the X-E3 that has just come out has changed the game for me. And here are the reasons why. The X-E3 offers all the advantages that I need for my workflow with the added advantage of having interchangeable lenses. That is the most obvious reason. If you're like me, you already have a collection of lenses. I have the X-T2, and on the X-T2 I have the 35mm f2, I have the 56mm f1.2, the 55-200, and I also have the kit 18-55. To me, the most important thing is glass, glass, glass. I think the ability to change in and out lenses on another camera body changes the game a lot for me. You're offered all the advantages of the processor on the X-T2, on the X-E3, in a small form factor and interchangeable lens ability. That is the first reason, and it's a big reason, guys. Now, here's the second reason. After long analysis of the specs of both cameras, which I took and actually went to the spec comparison chart at Fuji and looked at, the only advantage I was getting with the X100F was the dual EVF viewfinder. Where you can actually switch to live viewfinder and EVF at the same time. I found myself not using that. I have a video that talks about the pros and cons of the X100F, and I do mention that that actual added spec on the X100F I wasn't using at all. Therefore, that spec did not entice me to stay with the X100F. Here's another reason for me to go for the X-E3 and not the X100F. Because of the interchangeable lens capability, I have the possibility of using the X-E3 as a B cam. So anyone who owns an X-T2, you're giving yourself a B cam for different shoots. Now, because I have 4 lenses, I can attach, for example, a telephoto on my X-T2 to do some fashion shots when I do run and gun. And on the second camera, the X-T3, I can put a wide lens on. Whenever I see a wide shot, I don't have to interchange my lenses. I just go down, pick up the X-T3, and start shooting with a wide-angled lens, getting the same quality that I have on the X-T2. Now, another reason why I sold my X100F is that the X-E3, because it's newer technology, and it's more recent, it has a couple of new features that are a lot of fun. So there is the value added fact that the X-E3 has the following things. First of all, it has 11 to 14 frames per second. I know it is an electronic shutter, but it is a possibility that I might need 11 to 14 frames a second. That is something that I think is great. Also, it offers 4K recording video. And this might be practical because right on the Fuji right now, I have 4K video and it is stellar, by the way. I'll leave a link to my actual sample footage that I have filmed recently. But you also have a B-roll camera, and I thought that was a cool thing as well. Another thing is that, believe it or not, the X-E3, the dimensions themselves are actually a bonus. You are buying an even smaller camera. It is a tad smaller. So you're actually getting a smaller camera with the X-E3. Now, it is important to note that if you put the 18mm f2 or the 27 f2.8 on the X-E3, you're going to come out a winner in terms of size. It's a tad smaller, and that's a cool thing. Here are the questions I want to ask you. What do you think of my choice? Do you think it makes sense given the amount of arguments that I've given you just now and the points that I've given you? That is the first thing I want to ask. Second thing I want to ask, I am about to buy the X-E3. Now, for it to actually match the X100F, I need to buy a pancake lens, something that'll make it nice and street photography worthy. There is right now the 18mm f2 pancake and the 27mm f2.8, and I wanted to get your feedback on which one is better, if you've had any experiences with any of those cameras. So thank you guys for watching, and don't forget everybody, keep on making something from nothing.